gardeners. They favour the multiple things with lots and lots of people working close together rather than the sole operator who's far safer. It'd be far more logical to do it the other way around. So everybody should work singly if they really want to control infection. But it's not about that. It's about Andy Medic and his party giving the Premier 6 months more dictatorial power by his control of the upper house of the state parliament. So that was what he was given as a sweetener. It makes no sense. Politics over health every time, thanks to our beloved Premier, who could be facing criminal charges, which is a good thing. You certainly
got to touch on that real quickly then, about that. What's going on for anyone?
Yeah, I think everybody knows, but basically under industrial manslaughter, there's nearly 1,000 people died as a result of the negligence. Who's going to be responsible? I mean, I had a factory once and one of my workers was injured. Now, I had nothing to do with the running of the factory. I wasn't there, didn't hire the guy, wasn't around or anything, but I had to go to court to actually face up to a very embarrassing situation to be responsible for this guy who was injured. And in a sense, he's right too, because I was responsible. I chose the person who allowed this guy to do it. And even though he made a mistake and did what he wasn't supposed to, it shouldn't have been happening. The point of it is, I had one guy injured, not even that seriously. The Premier's mistakes has had nearly 1,000 people die. So there should be criminal charges, and they're talking about that. I don't see why it shouldn't go to the Premier. I really don't. I think he's personally responsible. He put this fiasco of public service in place. He hired incompetent people based on ideology rather than based on ability. He's responsible, and so is the health minister. But she's resigned now, I gather.
Yeah, how did you think that situation played out? Because I thought it was pretty. Yeah, I don't know how you thought about it. It's pretty.
Isn't it unbelievable how people can set up an organisation and nobody is responsible for anything that happens? I mean, what sort of incompetence is this? It's extraordinary. The thing of it is, though, the double standard is breathtaking. This was done by governments to have a go at business people. It doesn't matter how distant they are, the business is responsible. But when politicians make far, far worse problems, you imagine if any private employer, any company had released a poisonous gas, that 700 people died. Can you imagine what trouble they'd be in?
I'd be in jail.
They'd be in jail. Yeah. But a politician does the same thing. That's okay. Naughty boy, don't do it again. But but it wasn't really me anyway. It was somebody else, and nobody's responsible, so nobody suffers from it. It's outrageous what they've done.
Absolutely. So I'll just go to something real quickly. So we've got 100 people tuning in, and thanks everyone giving us letting us know about the audio issues just right at the start. So we got a question submitted via email during the week, which is fantastic. A direct email question.
Okay. I hope it's something I can answer, not some technical problem.
I think no. I think it's okay, this one. So it's from Steve Walkham. So Sir Steve, he's gone, during training when gyms talk about getting work and specifically pay for work guarantee, he suggests that franchisees contact all the other franchisees in their area to offer a free clean, mow, dog wash, etc. Yes. How do franchisees find all the other franchisees in the area? The Find a Local FSC function in Gyms Online does not find franchisees if their areas are geo-spaced. And franchisors can only find franchisees by using FMS4 only if the other franchisees are asking for work. There should be an easier way to find all other franchisees' contact details. From Sir Steve.
No, it's a good thought, actually. Though if you want to get in contact with them, just email me, jim@gyms.net, and I'll put you in touch with them. I often do that, actually. So,
what about that as a suggestion, though, for a system fix in regards to that one?
I think it's a good idea. I thought you could, actually. I thought you could find every franchisee in your area. I thought that was part of it.
Yeah, I thought it's brought up before a while back, and you checked on it for someone. So I don't know if that's been done or not. So
let me just send a.
So Jim's going to send an email request right on air for you, Steve, to get this sorted out. So we have a lot of questions and comments coming through. So I'll just fill it. Yeah.
Franchisees from other divisions in your area. I'm sending it to Liv, who's head of the programming. I thought
work on air.
We could do this. We should be able. Franchisees should be able to find each other locally. All right, I'll ask him, put it in the list.
There you go, Steve, done. So we'll get an update.
I'm not saying it's going to be done. I'll just see what's involved. But what he'll do is come back with, I honestly thought we had it. But
I thought it would you as well, because it's been brought up a few times before, the networking stuff and some other things as well. So
yeah. But it's a good thought. I mean, it's great for things like pay for work guarantee. You know, if you're a cleaner, the best thing to do is to get in touch with every other division in your area, mowing, trees, fencing, doesn't matter. And off we go and clean their house for nothing. It's a great start because first of all, they're not going to be suspicious because they know what it's about. But secondly, you're actually developing a relationship with other franchisees and the potential to cross-fertilize work. So it's a really good thing to do.
Absolutely. And Dave McDonald just put a comment in here saying, find local FSC does not work anymore. So apparently it doesn't work anymore. There's issues with it.
Well, it's a good thought. I thought we had that.
Well, it's a great thought, and thanks for bringing it up and letting us know. And Jim's obviously on air, sorted it, emailed Liv and going to sort it out. So Eric Jurgen's gone in, hi Jim, I'm just trying to work out what we're going to be doing with daylight savings. Do you think the Dan will still allow daylight savings to take place, or for the good Victorians that he will decide to postpone it? From Eric.
Well, I guess so. He probably decides to postpone Christmas because we'll all be naughty kids and we can't. Santa Claus is not coming to us anymore. So I don't know what he'd do that.
No idea there, Eric. Thanks for that one. And Dave McDonald says daylight savings fades my curtains because they get an extra hour of sun a day. It's very clever there, Dave, as well. Then a lot of people there sharing the feed and stuff, which is fantastic. And then we've got Malcolm Bradley. So Eric Jurgens, so we are now an all-service family. One of my customers that I serve coffee to rang me up and asked if I knew someone that did lawns. I walked out the front and gave the phone to my son, who then went there today and did his lawns. Whilst he was there, they got to talk his dogs, and my wife is now booked in there to go wash and groom all the dogs.
Very good.
So they're referring amongst the family.
That just shows the value of passing jobs between divisions, doesn't it? I mean, not everybody has it in the same family, but it's a great idea. Actually, having a relationship with people from different divisions so you can refer work back and forth is a fantastic thing to do. I know some franchisees who live off it. I know one trees guy who just all of his work came from referrals from mowing.
Really? Okay, that's fantastic. It's a good division, the trees one. And we'd love to see some more trees guys as well. And then we got
most people, yeah.
And we got Steve Walkham says FMS 5 has the ability to show other franchisees, but only their codes, not any contact details. That's from Steve Walkham.
That's ridiculous. What's the point of that?
Correct. It's not going to help any.
And I'll see what Liv says about it. There may be some way of doing it, but in case it's not, sometimes there's things you can do in. I was asking how you send a survey, to do a survey. So when a client writes to say they're happy with somebody, I wasn't able to do a survey, but there is a way of doing it. You just have to go into a different section of FMS. So they showed me how to do it, but it's not obvious. So some things you can do, you just don't know how to do.
I just want to touch on something real quickly before we get going on, because we've got 100 people watching. Do you want the merchandise, Jim? You've got there with you.
Maybe yeah. Okay, I was going to put it on. I've run a bit of time because we're having dinner.
Yeah,
This is the hat. All right. And this is the shirt. Let Victoria work. So they're very nice, black on white. This is small. It looks pretty big to me, but anyway, that's the smallest one they have. So
there's a hat.
We're hoping. We ordered 1,000 shirts, 1,000 hats, and 1,000 bumper stickers, and about 100 signs, and about 10% have gone out already in the first few days. So it's going pretty well. But yeah. I think for anybody in Victoria who wants to support, get these shirts. If people start wearing these shirts and these hats around, it'll really show people that we do want to get back to work. When we can be done safely, that's what annoys me. I don't object if it was really a danger to public health, but this business about dog wash, people still can't do it. It's just crazy. There's no health benefit at all. In fact, it's negative to health because of the mental health issues.
Yeah, I think that's still piling up now. The mental health stuff, it's still going on, and they just sort of ignore it. They keep ignoring it. It's a question that keeps ignored.
I know personally 2 franchisees who've had suicide attempts within their family. This is rampant, this stuff. And we know that stress from people are feeling it's awful what's going on.
So with these hats, so there's hats, bumper stickers, and shirts, and you can get them in a pack. I'm pretty certain, and you can reignite Democracy Australia is the link. The link's actually on Jim's profile. So if you go to Jim's profile, you can actually find the link there as well directly to purchase it. It actually looks good on you, Jim. The old cap, it looks good.
What's good? I haven't got much hair left, so I suppose anything hides.
It looks good. It looks pretty cool. I don't mind it actually. It looks good, Jim. I'm being honest.
When you get to my age, the less you show of yourself, the better. There's actually these Jim's
The masks, yep.
The mask.
When I can get back in there, we'll start posting them out.
People have seen those.
Yeah. The blue mask, yep.
You can have a blue mask as well. I don't know how people can order it. Actually, with these shirts and stuff, it doesn't come from gyms. It comes from someone else. You can email me and I'll pass you through. It comes from a company called Reignite Democracy. Well, no, it's not a company. It's
a movement page. It's like a non-for-profit movement page. Yeah.
So there you
go. They have it all.
This is
the mask.
The Gyms Group mask. There you are. Like that.
That looks good.
It's got the logo on it somewhere. So if you do that and I wear a hat, cover up my eyes and I'm almost gone.
Have some sunglasses on. Yeah. But yeah, you can get that link on Jim's bio. They look good. And make sure they're selling out, guys. It'd be great to have you wearing them around. Send a photo of yourself wearing them in, and we can share it and stuff like that. It's getting pretty good traction. So Craig Watson's gone to the question here. Hi, Jim and Joel. Can you look at other franchisees in gyms online? So in gyms online, Craig's just asking, is there any functionality for him to look up other franchisees?
Well, that's what we were just talking about before.
Yep.
Yes. I thought there was a system, but it doesn't seem to be working. So I've asked Liv to see if we can get it out. I'm sure it's there somewhere. It's just a case of maybe it doesn't work properly.
Eric Jurgens has gone, Jim, so now we are not allowed to wear anything but the prescribed mask. And yet to get to the figures down from 700 infections per day down to 5 per day, they were acceptable. He said that we will be wearing masks for the whole of summer, which goes against his own health department's recommendations. Once again, Daniel Andrews doing just as he pleases, regardless of recommendations.
Well, I don't have a problem with masks so much. There is some evidence they reduce infection, not so much for the people who... It's mainly a problem. The person with a mask, if they have got it, they don't cough on people. That's more or less. So there is recommendations. I don't really have an issue with it. I don't mind wearing a mask because it doesn't cost anything in terms of work. But shutting down, mowing people and dog wash and pool, that's just there's no value. That's a really, really, really big sacrifice. Wearing a mask when you go out in public, no, it's not. I don't think that's such a big thing, really.
What do you think about the old face shield things? I think they've banned the face shields or said it's not acceptable.
Yeah, they have.
And bandanas or something.
It has to be a proper mask.
Yeah.
I get sort of used to it after a while. I just carry one in my pocket and pull it out and you put it on and you just get used to it. I don't mind them.
The Michael King's gone, can you explain the benefits of cold showers in the mornings? That's a good question, Michael. Can you explain the benefits of cold showers in the morning?
Yeah, our bodies are evolved to have tough treatment. We've evolved for millions of years to be kind of challenged in a way, and it's just good for it. I don't know what exactly it does. One of the ideas is that it actually gives you a burst of cortisol, which is a sort of a stress hormone. But instead of being chronic stress, which is really bad for you, it gives you a burst like that, bang. And it just seems to have a good effect on mood. I find exercise and cold showers, and I only have cold showers after exercise. Having it straight out of bed would be too hard, but it's not difficult. You run or road for half an hour. Your cold shower isn't much of a burden, even in the wintertime. You get used to it. So
aren't you training your prefrontal cortex to sort of, if you're putting yourself into something you don't want to go into, it builds you better, let's say, willpower.
Well, it does build anything like that builds willpower. Of course, anything that you do that's difficult builds willpower. But I just find it's good. You have a cold shower in the middle of winter actually, and we're walking around in a shirt, and it actually takes you about half an hour. It's like, hey, this is a cold day, so I put a coat on, because you don't even notice the cold after you've just had that cold shower. I just think it's a great mood lifter. Exercise and cold shower, exposure to cold in general is really, it's a good feeling. They used to use it in Victorian days as a treatment for all kinds of things. And I think they knew what they were doing. My father made us have cold showers as a kid. I didn't really appreciate it very much.
But the secret's to do the exercise first. Exercise first.
Exercise is the most important thing. But yeah, going hungry at times too. Like the 16-8 fasting I do, where I don't eat before 1 o'clock. And so the 16, or in my case, normally more like 18 hours when I don't eat. And feeling a little bit of hunger towards the end of that time is also, it's very good for your body. Our bodies weren't evolved to have life too easy. And that's why, things like eating all the food you want and the high fat and sugar stuff and becoming obese and stuff, it's really, really bad for you. Not just in terms of health, but in terms of mood.
I didn't eat till 4 today, Jim, so I was doing my long fast as well. So I didn't feel like eating till 4, so I held off. Then Dave McDonald says, I was turning a TV in today for a customer. Trump, 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 Trump. It was a quick tune. So we should have touched on it at the start, but I don't know if you caught any of the debate today, the first of 4 between Biden and Donald Trump.
I heard about it. They reckon it was people yelling at each other the whole time.
Oh,
and having the moderator, it doesn't sound very civilized.
It's quite a watch. It goes for around an hour. I recommend you watch a little bit of it. It just sums it up, I reckon, the state of politics.
Who do you reckon is going to win the election?
I think Trump will.
I reckon Trump will. Even though the polls are against him, I reckon he'll do it. It's very rare for US presidents not to get a second term. And,
it is.
And his supporters are rusted on, whereas Biden's are going to be light. That's my feeling, because they don't have.
And saying that, I thought he performed really well in the. If you watch a bit of the debate today, I thought Biden actually did really, really well compared to some of the other performances I've seen him done. So it was quite important.
I think he's a decent enough guy from what I know about him, but I mean, bit of a lefty. But I was just reading a book called The Expendables by a guy called Jeff Rubin during the week, and it actually. He's not so much a fan of Trump, but he explains why people like Trump. And in particular, we're talking about white, non-college educated men, because the whole society is so much against them. And things like immigration is a really bad thing for them, because low-wage workers come in and they compete for jobs and they force wages down and they don't like it. And all the, what else were we talking about? Oh yes, the offshoring of American jobs. You shut down the plants in America, and you send the jobs and you buy stuff in China. Well, if you're well off, if you've got a nice, comfortable professional, that's great. You get all this cheap stuff. But what about the guys who've lost their secure jobs they used to have, like in auto plants and stuff in the past? And being able to buy stuff cheap from Walmart doesn't really help you if you've got no work. Or you're forced to do, minimum wage work, like $15 an hour. It's pathetic. Actually, less than that in America in some places. So it's kind of understandable. It really is. Actually, I'm reading another book right now. I listened to a talking book called Deaths of Despair or something like that. And that's talking all about the health crisis that are meeting these people too. It's this whole globalization thing is very ambiguous. It's very, very good for some people and really, really bad for others.
So there you go for Jim's book club. We got it in there right in the middle, which is great. So they're the 2 this week.
Right, not a lot I've been reading, actually. I mean, anyway, there's a couple of good ones anyway.
There's a couple of good ones for the people that are interested. It's pretty relevant for this time. Jim's Mowing Bay of Plenty Hawks. It says daylight savings has started over there in New Zealand last weekend. So over in NZ, they've started. Now, Steve Durrant's gone, g'day all, been flat out. An elderly couple posted on a local page their fence got kicked in. They were just recovering from floods. I offered to fix their fence for free, which in turn has got me a lot more work from others. Just goes to show what good faith does. That's from Steve and Jim's Fencing. Well done, Steve.
Yeah, nice of you.
Then Paul Gronefield's gone here, I love Jim, which is great. So that's good. Craig Watson's gone, online has email address and phone number and area where they work. So online has email address and phone number and area where they work. Craig's saying that Jim's online has, which is good. And then Nicholas from, So Craig's saying that the Nicholas from Jim's Windows, Craig Moore's gone, Jim's online allows you search out Jim's tradies and list their phone numbers. So apparently you can. So I don't know what the issue there is, maybe.
Yeah, where can you post this? Could you put it on a YouTube feed or something? Let people know.
Yeah, sure. I can put it in the group.
We'll find out how it's done. If that's possible, we'll put it on the YouTube feed and figure out how to do it. I don't use YouTube online, so I'm not so familiar with it. But
yeah, some other franchisees are saying that you can, so it might be not an issue. Hopefully. Then Eric Jurgen says, if we wear the new shirts while we work, are we out of uniform? So if they wear a Victoria work shirt, will they get out of uniform?
Yeah, you will. Just wear it when you're going shopping or something.
There's a bumper. There's stickers though for your car. You can put a sticker on your van or your trailer.
Your car is good. Yeah, I've got to get my car's so filthy at the moment. The sticker will fall off, so I have to wash it a bit before it will stick on. But yeah, it should. We've also got these complete signs that you can display and so forth. We're hoping to get enough people doing this kind of stuff. I think it could have an effect. I mean, public opinion has moved remarkably our way in recent times, particularly for things like the gardening and so forth, because people find it outrageous. I've never seen anybody defend why council workers can work in groups and our people can't work individually, but it's still going on with the dog wash. So yeah, it's worth pushing.
The Nicholas Ernst gone, it's a hidden agenda. Then Belinda Hadley's tuned in, which is great. So we've done our first Jim's Mowing Franchisee Facebook page via the national page for Belinda, for her husband, Adam, who's joining, which is fantastic. Matt Merton's gone, I love your passion on the subject, Jim, which is great. John Wilds says, I have ordered a pack and might wear the hat as part of my uniform. So John Wilds, so good to see you, John.
Well, you can certainly wear the hat, yes.
Okay, there you go. So the hat you can wear.
The hat becomes uniform because there is no uniform hat. So
there you go. That's fantastic. All right, so the hat you can. So make sure you order the hat. Stuart Rainbow's gone, how good is it to hear those mowers humming this week? Massive mowing for FSCs. I personally saw 2 franchisees still working at 5 p.m. today. Some of the photos I've been sent are unbelievable. The grass is very thick and long. The incredible transformations this week, it's like they have waved their magic wand. Talk about wowing the client. I'm sure most of you mowing guys are in bed now as you'd be knackered, but great work, guys. Hats off to you. Keep it up. From Stuart, who's a regional franchisor. And I don't know, have you heard much about that, Jim, about the state of people's lawns and about how flat out they're working, or has that come back through too much?
It's a big job. The trouble is your lawn's 8 weeks gone and they can't charge so much extra for it. So there's plenty of work around, but it's hard to make money out of it. So then Blake Todd's gone, DVA have a 5-year contract for my local gyms to do my lawns fortnightly, and it's been about 2 to 3 months since they have come back. So Blake Todd's saying there's something, maybe an issue there. There's a data issue there. Blake, put through maybe admin@gyms.net or send it through to Jim, I guess. Well, the problem will be that there's 8 weeks of jobs not being done. See, everybody expects us to come back in the first few days after the lockdown ends, but in reality, they've got all their clients need to be done now. They're all overdue and they're all long, so they'll get to you as soon as they can. Is all I can say.
And they can't have workers.
Particularly urgent. Just ring up your local franchisee or send a message through and ask if they can come as soon as possible.
Then they can't have workers as well, which is a big shame. Then Dave McDonald says, Jim, try wearing a mask when it's 40 degrees and you have to work on a tin roof. My mask will be a play school song in summer, on and off, on and off.
Well, when I'm going for a walk, which I do quite fast, I have my mask on, but it's normally down. And then when I see somebody, I put it up. I mean, honestly, if nobody can see you, then why wear it? If you were mowing somebody's backyard, for example, or cleaning their pool or something, why would you have the mask on? But if you're going out the front and you're actually in the street, you might want to just put it up and then get into your car and then take it down again. So I wouldn't wear it all the time.
Absolutely. Brad Shee from Jim's Dog Wash gone, this Facebook bot rejected my ad 2 weeks ago under political grounds. I had to wait a while. It was reviewed for approval. It got approved eventually, but you're obviously getting some attention, Jim. No, I don't know. Hopefully it didn't get flagged because of what Jim's saying by Facebook. I don't think that's the case. Sometimes Facebook in the Philippines, it goes to them and they flag the wrong things and stuff like that. They're pretty hot in political ads at the moment.
What Facebook ad was banned?
I think Brad done one for Jim for his own territory in Jim's Dog Wash, and they flagged it saying it was on rejecting it on political grounds or something, which is probably. So I don't know if Jim's is flagging as political with somehow. I don't know what's going on.
I've never had so many people wanting me to stand for office as I have in the past few weeks.
I can imagine. Well, I'm glad they reviewed it, Brad, and didn't say it's political, but they're pretty tough on that stuff now. Eric Jurgens has got a cold shower to me. Jim is like a nice hot cup of coffee for you. So Eric's saying regards before.
Yes, well, that's probably true, but yeah, give it a try, Eric. Come on, have a go, but exercise first. It's surprising what you can get used to. I wouldn't start in the middle of winter, but if you start in the summer, it's not much of a thing. You got to be hot.
Yeah, get that sweat.
Running in summertime is very, very hot, so that's not difficult at all to get used to it. It's just quite refreshing.
Do you prefer one exercise?
So it goes into the winter.
But do you prefer one exercise in winter over summer, or do you just do the same thing consistently throughout?
I exercise year round.
Yeah.
I just.
Do you prefer running, or do you prefer the rowing now, or are you doing both all the time?
What I normally do is I do 20 minutes of running. And then I do 10 minutes of rowing. That's my standard. Yeah. But that's like a minimum. So I also work. Like today, I spend a couple of hours on my farm just cutting bracken fern and stuff, which is really fun, and or clearing blackberries, this kind of stuff. Or I go for a really vigorous walk around our block here, which is like half an hour. That's really nice. Listening to a talking book. So
yeah, but it's always listen to audiobooks, isn't it, while you're doing it?
Yeah.
Then Darren Kopp's going, hi guys, need to update my mowing uniform soon. Any plans to bring out a new look for the mowing division from Jim's Mowing Forbes?
Not that I know of actually, but we've got a new division in Jim's, which is Jim's Signs and
Print.
Print and Signs and Print. And they actually did these things too and did a fantastic job. They got them done within it was a really good price, about half what other people were charging. It's a very good job, and it was done in about 4 days. They're a very impressive bunch. So I'm hoping they're going to take over the Jim's uniforms. I reckon they're a real. They've already got expansion into state. They're already going. They've only just signed up, so they are red hot. These guys. So that's a good time to actually look at the uniforms and see if we can have some changes, some variations.
Yeah, let us know what you'd like, Darren, to see on there. Maybe suggestions there would be great. That's a good one actually to run a poll with to see what people would like for some designs.
If you've got something that you like, just email me, jim@jims.net, and I'll talk to them about it and see what we can do.
No, that's a great suggestion, Darren. And then Dave McDonald says Trump will win because people will be so scared of the change in the current climate, which is a good point. Mm-hmm. And then we have.
It's not going to be good either way because America's so polarized. I mean, we've got problems here, but nothing like the extent that they have. And half the population's armed with guns too. So
it's a scary thing. Yeah, I know. There's militias, and I think it was in Portland when they held up they made the big fort with all like these Antifa type people. So yeah, it's quite full on. Belinda Hadley's gone, has anyone had neighbours complain about parking their work vehicle in front of their own property, even when parked illegally? You heard anything about that, even when legally parked? You ever heard that complaint, Jim?
Why would we object to the? No,
well, it must have happened to Belinda up in Queensland. So
I know one client got very upset because one neighbour got upset because they parked partly across her driveway.
That's never good. No, that's not
good.
You've got
to be careful about that. But I mean, if you park, I mowed lawns 15 years, and I can't even remember a client getting annoyed at me for that kind of reason.
But if you park legally, Belinda, hopefully there's nothing happening there. Then Dave McDonald says, Jim, did you buy some Zoom shares in February? I might sell mine and then retire. LOL.
The only thing I'd ever invest in is my own company. And if I had money, I can get a far better return by investing in better software or whatever in my own company. That's the best return. You don't invest in somebody else's company when you can invest in your own. That's why if people wanted, one of the things it's one of the greatest investments of all time is to buy a Jim's regional franchise. You don't even have to run it. You just have to, it can be managed for you. And it's actually a phenomenal rate of return.
Best kept secret, the real regional franchise. It's the best kept secret, I reckon.
Well, look, that's what tends to happen. People come to work in the office and they see what's going on. They start buying regional franchise. It happens all the time. I was just talking to Matt today, Matt Woods, and who's divisional support, and he's looking into buying a region. Rocky's got one. He works there. Just about anybody who works around, look, after a while, they start looking at buying a regional franchise because it's an incredibly good investment. I actually buying them back too. I buy regional franchises back when they come up for the same reason.
Dave McDonald's replying to Craig before saying it's not working now. So there's a bit of conjecture out if it's working or not. So we'll have to look into it and then do an update when we do know what's going on. And then Nicole Plump's going on, can franchisees in the mowing division have to work by themselves, or can they have a family member that lives in the same house as them work with them?
Look, technically speaking, according to the guidelines, it's only one person. But seriously speaking, if you put a second person out there, nobody's been stopped. I've actually in touch with a whole stack of people who've been doing it, including some during the lockdown, and nobody's ever been stopped. Much less fined. It's just the police aren't doing anything, and the public is not concerned. The public are very supportive. So I really wouldn't worry too much about it. If you want to go out with your wife or your son or whatever, for sure, go and do it.
Then Paul Sounds responding to Craig as well. So this is a hot topic of the night, this Gyms Online thing. Find a local franchisee on Gyms Online. Hasn't been working for about 3 weeks now. And Paul's pretty up with it because he's doing the networking stuff. So probably take maybe Paul for that one. And then Dave McDonald says, Jim, we have a baseball cap and a bucket hat as our uniform, but I can't choose to wear a straw hat. Can't get permission to wear an Akubra. Too much of a cowboy, from Jim's Antennas.
Really? That's the division, is it?
Yeah, that's Antennas division. I don't know. Do you want it? If you have a straw hat branded, I think that'd be okay, wouldn't
it? They set it up. I didn't know they had a hat. I mean, the mowing guys, we don't mind what they wear.
Mowing has, I think they've got baseball caps they all like to wear, and they have different designs, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I don't think you have to wear a hat. You're not out of uniform if you wear something different. If you wore something like this, I don't think you'd be out of uniform. Anyway, I own the division, so I'll give you permission.
There you go. And Warwick Thomas is going, evening, Jim and Joel. First 3 days back in Vic. Where are the mowing unserviced leads sitting? From Warwick Thomas.
Where are they sitting?
Yeah.
Do you want me to look?
Yeah, go for it. And I'll try and get down a few more comments as we're going. And we have Paul Sanders, which has done a great video on the comments, which is fantastic regarding on how.
So what does he want to know? He wants to know unserviced jobs for the
Victoria
mowing division in Victoria, and so far this week, so the 28th onwards. How about that?
Let's go for that.
28th, 9th to... Summary by service. That's probably a good way to do it.
Mm.
Actually, one good thing about doing... Oh, here they are. Okay, so far this week, in the past 3 days, 475 unserviced leads. 475. Oh, including 42 row regular, 181 mow once, 52 pruning, ride-ons, gardening, just all over. 475 leads coming through. We just can't cope. We're overloaded, completely flat out overloaded.
So there you go, Warwick. If you're thinking about making a jump, come on board. If you're not a
last thing you had to worry about anyway, even in normal times. I mean, even before the lockdown, when people didn't have their lawns mowed for 8 weeks, we were still really busy. Our leads are way up from last year. The only time it hasn't been up is during the actual lockdown. Before that, July was 20% up over the same July last year.
It was, and that was, and even though the economy, it was all doom and gloom, and it was still going up, wasn't it?
Well, we're trying to work out why there's such a huge increase. You'd think people lose their jobs and stuff, but our figuring is that most people have still got jobs, and those who haven't have got government support. Well, you can't go out and eat. You can't travel overseas. No point in buying clothes or anything because nobody's going to see you. So exactly. Your money. You might as well get your lawns mowed.
Absolutely, or get some stuff done around the house.
Or dog washed or handyman or pool care or whatever. And people have got money and they've got time and they're there. So they say, oh, let's get it done.
Absolutely. So guys, make sure if you want to hear anyone to hear this, share the feed. So Pauline's gone, he can't understand why we can't have our fur babies groomed as okay to take to a salon, but not mobile. We still have to hand them over. My baby, Mrs. Julie from Jim's Dog Wash, she's so good with my girl. So we had a customer from Jim's Dog Wash, Pauline, just doesn't understand. Well,
yeah, you and me both. It's politics over health every time. And what I can't comprehend is how spineless Victorians are. They support this guy. I think what he's done is a horror. He's inflicted a plague upon the state by his incompetence. And if you have any idea how the state government runs, it's stacked full of people on huge salaries. We're talking about $180,000 a year for cross-gender diversity officer and this kind of stuff. There's full of them. But in actual terms, they're actually spending money to help people. Like public health is got less spending per capita in Victoria than any other state, half of what they spend in New South Wales. So all these useless do-nothing bureaucrats with these high-flying title and all about all the trendy left-wing causes, they're stacked full of those. But to actually get anything done, no, I haven't got any money for that. It's
hopefully, shocking. Pauline, they can get to help your girl. My girlfriend's got a little Shih Tzu, and this thing's a wild thing now. It used to be really short. Now it's all bushy, and you can't get in anywhere because no.
Yeah, our dog needs grooming too. Actually, our little but he's a bit of a handful. They have to get experienced people to do it. But they were talking to Dad about getting them back to come and do it, but they can't. They're not allowed.
Yeah.
I'm employed if I'm going to go to a grooming salon. I want Jim's to come.
Well, you can't even get into a grooming salon, so you can't do anything. It's just ridiculous. Then Denise Taylor from Jim's Clean's gone smashing it here on the Sunshine Coast, 72 days straight. Have 4 new employees to help out, but obviously not enough. In the process of selling a split 7 months in. Denise, I'd love to do an interview of you, Denise, so please email me. So Denise started in the crisis. Denise Taylor.
Let me have a look. I'll see how she's going. I love it. Actually, when we're here, it's really good.
Doing stuff live on air with FMS4. So Jim's got FMS4, which is a system which he sees everything in the group, franchisees and Zors. So he's live on air using that system.
Yeah, I love it. Actually, you can't do this when in our normal time because we're in a.
No, you can't. So it's been great. But I'd love to do an interview with Denise to talk about your business because Denise started in March.
Actually, Denise told us from where? From Queensland. What division?
Cleaning. Denise Taylor.
Doesn't come up.
Sunshine Coast. Sorry, Sunshine Coast.
Taylor.
Taylor. Denise Taylor. Yeah.
Nope, it doesn't come.
Maybe it's typing Taylor as the surname, then see if what comes up in cleaning. You're not coming up apparently, Denise, but apparently you're doing really well. So
tell us your code. I'll find you. No,
franchisee code.
Can't find any Denise it's Queensland, is it?
Sunshine Coast, yeah, Queensland.
Yeah,
well, Denise, I'd love to do an interview with you, Denise, because you're doing really well. It'd be a great story. 7 months in, you started the crisis and you got 4 employees already, which is fantastic from the cleaning group. I'll get the code for you and come back later, Jim.
So when did you start?
I think 7 months ago. So what's that? March, February.
So it would have started about February. can't find anybody like that who started about February.
Might be in a partnership, so it might be under someone else's name, maybe, Denise.
Yeah, it must be a different name.
Yeah, that's great to hear you doing well, Denise. And I'll take this off air to hook up an interview with you if you got any time. Just be great to hear about you going. I think she started right in the middle of the crisis and was doing really well. So let's keep going on here as well. And we've got, so Tara's gone to you. Thanks for everything you're doing, Jim, which is from Tara Emerson.
Yeah.
Flavio's gone here. Is any chance to finance 50% off the franchise or more, from Flavio?
Yeah, it depends on the franchisor. But yes, in some situations they do offer vendor terms, particularly when work is so overloaded as we are right now in most divisions. Because it sort of depends. I mean, I'll do vendor terms in my own region sometimes, because we own a few regions. We just need people so badly. Like in fencing, for example. I mean, it's 60% unserviced leads. So anybody who wants to do fencing, they'll get a really, really, really good deal right now.
Absolutely, that's a good one. So, Flavio, if you're interested in fencing, mate, that'd probably be a good one, or whatever you're interested in.
Yeah, or mowing, maybe, or something else.
Mowing, yeah.
Most divisions are very, very keen to get people on because there's so much work at the present time. We've got a lot of franchise inquiries, got tremendous sales going through because, we have work and so much of the economy is in a mess. But yeah, we definitely need good people. If somebody's good at what they do, we really, really want them. We're actually going to people who've been in gyms in the past and say, come back. We'll give you a free franchise because if you're a good operator. Yeah.
So I've just got a hot tip on the hotline for Denise Taylor. Try Peter Duncan is the franchisee name, 7PD3.
Got it. Peter Duncan. Yeah, well, that does make more sense.
Because comments it's Denise Taylor.
All right. Well, I can tell you one good reason why they're doing so well. 4.9 star rating, 4.9, 47 ratings. How good is that?
Fantastic. Nearly at the 50 stars, which gets a feature. So hopefully your franchisor sends through a photo of you, and we can do a.
Well, look, if you look at the surveys, almost all 5 stars, just fantastic. Look, Peter and Denise are always a pleasure to deal with. They are extremely efficient and leave the house beautiful every time. Very friendly and nothing they cannot do for you. Fantastic, friendly, professional, able to attend at very short notice. So friendly again. They are very friendly and did a wonderful job. I have never had wonderful experience like this before, and I've had cleaner come into my house cleaning for 5 years. Great service, very professional and thorough. How good is that? No wonder they're doing well.
Fantastic.
People love them. It's much noticeable too. It's not just the fact that they're great cleaners, and they are, but they're really nice. Clients really like them. So that's great news. That really is.
So I'd love to do a talk with you, Denise. So I'll email you offline. Then Belinda Hadley's gone, even so this is in relation to before with Belinda's incident, even another franchisee being parked in as their neighbours don't like her parking her trailer in front of her house. Plus neighbours complaining, telling not to park legally, and I don't walk on the footpath. So there's a bit of issues with neighbours regarding parking legally up there in Queensland for Belinda.
I presume there must be, you can't park in front of the actual client's house is the problem. Usually that's where you park, of course. Yeah,
I don't know where else you could for mobile dog wash and grooming. And then Harvinder Singh's gone here. Hi, Jim. It's taking too long to mow clients' lawns. They don't want to pay more. They don't want to pay any more for them. Yeah,
I've heard that one. It's really, really rough. I mean, 8 weeks at this time of the year, especially in the southern states where the grass is growing, it'd be so high. I know the grass in my backyard is just like like that high.
Then Warwick Thomas from before says 575. That's huge. Already in, Joel, with 100 plus regulars to get done. Jungles everywhere. So Warwick's a franchisee mowing. That's fantastic. He's got 100 regulars. So that is a huge amount. Wow, we need more franchisees. Great.
Yes, we do.
Dave McDonald says, Jim, pick 3 days consecutively at random. And what unserviced were there in Vic then? Did people still need the work?
Well, that's the last. I just picked the last 3 days, and that's 475 unserviced leads in mowing in Victoria.
That's just a mowing, though. Yeah.
Well, you want the whole thing? I can give you the whole unserviced leads for every division if you like. Let's
do that. That'd be a good one.
So you want? Okay, I'll pick the last 3 days. Okay, let's have a look at this. In fact, I can do it from here. So no division. So talk about the 28th of September to the 9 by service, and I'll pick Vic again if you like. Let's see what else is around. Summary by service. Okay, what else have we got? Let's have a look.
Live on air time, FMS4 special, I reckon we call this.
Probably take advantage of the fact that the phones here, 1,188. What else is really bad in terms of unserviced leads? 22 antennas. Car detailing, there's a whole stack there. There's about 50 of those. Carpet cleaning, about 20. Cleaning, not too many, another 30 for cleaning. What else have we got? Dog wash, oh, lots of dogs. My goodness. 1498, 109, 134, 136. 137 unserviced dog wash. Fencing, there's about 50, 60, 70 of those.
A lot.
Quite a few. Glass, handyman, 8, 13, 27, 28, 31, 33, 35, 37. Obviously, we looked at mowing. What else is there? Yeah, a few pool cleaning, 8, 10, 14, about 20 pool care. Pest, about 15. Roofing jobs. Hey, look at the skip bins. Wow. That's 15, 27.
Spring cleaning.
43, 54, 62, 64. Skip bins is amazing. I was talking to, who was I talking to today? I think it was Matt. And he said they typically make some ridiculous amount of money, like $150,000 to $200,000 a year. Very, very lucrative. It's a big thing to get into. Lots of tree jobs. Yeah,
there's a lot on there. A lot of opportunity for anyone watching.
That's just in 3 days. It's painful. 1,188 unserviced leads just in the last 3 days.
We'll keep going on here. Thanks for that, Jim. Brad Shee's gone, unserviced leads gets you so excited, Jim. Opportunity, concede in your face.
Well,
Brad?
It gets me frustrated. I would rather have franchisees doing all that. It's just such a waste that it's not good for our name. But obviously, if you're interested in buying a franchise, it is quite comforting to be able to look at it and say, oh, wow, I would have been flat out if I started, this week. And you would have been too. But most of that's the case anyway. We just find that in most divisions, there's people get busy so quickly. It's getting easier and easier to find work. We just, our biggest struggle is always to find enough franchisees, enough quality people to take the work. That's always the problem.
It's always the trouble, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Gary Hertog's gone, one of my jungles featured on Channel 7 News last night. So Gary was a franchisee on Channel 7 News, and he says, weeds almost longer than me and the reporter. So I think you're out in our tone away there, Gary. And Sam's gone, is Melbourne open to mow lawns now? Yes, Sam, they can by themselves. Now, Justin Kirkham's gone, hi, Jim. As a franchisee, most clients call me Jim. Is it okay to call you Justin so I can retain my identity?
That's right. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You'll actually, people say that. They say, oh, my name's Justin. Yeah, okay, all right, thanks, Jim.
Justin's from Jim's Fencing.
Jim, everybody's Jim, but it's pretty strange. The funny thing, of course, people don't recognize who I am. They don't know me. If I go around in the uniform, then they'll see this uniform. Oh, no, where do you work? Which division are you in? I said, I'm working in the head office. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Justin's from Jim's Fencing, so thanks for watching, Justin. And David's gone here, storm coming through tonight, Jim. And then Paul Sanders has gone, responding to Flavio, gone, Jim's Diggers will offer you vendor terms, mate. So Paul's making an offer to Flavio for Jim's Diggers on air. And Flavio's actually got interest in the coffee van. So mobile coffee is an interesting one for him. So that one there.
We have to talk about that. Well, the thing about the mobile coffee is the cost is mainly in the van and the setup, the equipment. The franchise itself isn't that expensive at all, and that can usually be vended, but you got to be able to buy the stuff. But it's a brilliant van. If anybody's seen it with the orange and black and everything else, and it's a very, very good setup, very professional. It works extremely well, and it's a good earner. There should be a lot of those around the place. It's a great business. I know Eric told me he's doing about $3,000 a week before the lockdown stuffed things around a bit, but it's a very good business.
It's just getting in. It's just that vehicle cost and the machine cost. Yeah. Then Sam's going, hi, Jim. Just wondering, what is the average star rating? Thanks. So what's the average star rating across the group? It's a good question, actually. I've never had that one before.
I'm not sure. I think it's about 4.6, 4.7. Most franchisees are over that these days. I must have a look at it. It's tended to rise with time because people are very protective of their star ratings too. But also, to be fair, a star rating is not just the initial result. What happens is if somebody gets a bad star rating for any reason, if they can go back and satisfy the client, then I'll not only delete any complaint, but I'll raise the star rating. I do that regularly. So from my point of view, that's okay, because all I care about is the clients looked after. So they have been going up lately.
Which is great to hear from any customers watching about that. With the gyms, you're going to get someone of that caliber. And then Belinda
well, usually you can. We're still not 100% perfect, but I personally go through all the complaints from all the surveys every day just to check on them and see what's going on. I'm always trying to work out how we can improve what we do. But the great majority of the time, we do give good service, that's for sure.
And Belinda Hadley's gone in front of her house, and Belinda Hadley says her own property where she actually lives. So I think she was doing a customer, and the neighbours were complaining when they parked in front of the house. So that's a bit interesting, that one as well. Eric Jurgen says, I'm sure Jim will do a deal for you, Flavia, on Mobile Cafe. I'm currently the only one and killing it, even during COVID-19.
Oh, really?
So, yes. You're apparently going to do a deal. It's Eric saying you're going to do a deal for him.
Well, it's great, actually, because I have to say, 6 months ago, we were wondering whether this division was any good at all, because it took a while for Eric to figure out how to do it. But he's got this system now where he parks on main roads and so forth and has regular customers, and it's just getting better and better and better. I think it's a brilliant business because it does cost a bit to get into, but if you're a sociable kind of person, which Eric is, it's a nice business, and it's a very, very good earning business, and it's not physically hard. I mean, you can make a lot of money doing things like building fences, but not everybody's that physical. So somebody who's sort of semi-retired or a bit older, I think it'd be a great business.
Absolutely. Then Brett Gouldlet's going, I'm looking at putting it in another pest control vehicle. Do I have to get a new person to do Jim's training or just my trading franchise? From Brett Gouldlet.
If you're a franchisee already, you don't have to put your worker through training. You can if you wish to, and that's actually, we'll give you a discount on it because we like to see it happen, but it's not compulsory. You're the only person that needs to do the training.
Okay, it's a good question, Brett, and good on you for expanding your business. And Flavio's gone here, mowing as well. I like grooming as well, but I'm 6'4", and I believe I'm too tall for the trailer. So 6'4", would you have a problem getting in the dog wash and dog grooming trailer?
I think you might. I'd suggest, like anybody else, what you should do is go out and give it a go and see what happens. You might find yourself too tall, but you might not. But it's easy to do. I mean, nobody should buy a franchise until they spend at least a day on the road, actually working out what it's like, which is also part of the trialing process too. So yeah, just kind of give it a try. I mean, the thing about dog wash, it's not for everybody. You just have to love dogs. That's the number one. If you know, the first question that any franchisor would normally ask you is how many dogs you own. And if you don't own a dog, well, then why not? So, but it's one for dog lovers. It really is. And they're different. Dog wash people are very different from any other division. Different characteristics, don't they? You notice that.
It's a very good culture. They're very warm. They're very
warm, very huggy, very emotional. Yeah. They cry a lot. This kind of stuff too. they're very female, but but then they're quite different. Something like trees guys are really macho and
they're pretty rough. They're a bit more rough.
Not rough in their language, we hope, but certainly they've got different attitude entirely. And kit beans tend to be big. Not all of them, but a lot of them a bit overweight.
It'd be more in the truck, yeah. They're in the truck a bit more.
You can almost look at a person and say, you know what division they're in.
It's not a bad thing. Do some silhouettes on like a thing and you can guess which one from based on it. And then Sam's gone here, hi Jim, I bought into a Jim's antenna. It's been close to the best thing I've ever done. Thank you. And he goes, I didn't receive my 55-star reward. So just for this one to make it clear with people with the awards. So we put up dog wash franchisees who get trophies from their franchisor for customer service. And then a lot of other franchisees and other businesses says, where's my award? Where's my award? So we've started the thing. If your franchisor sends us a photo of you with a little bit about you, we're putting you on the website. We're making the page currently, and we put that out there for franchisors. So just get it into us and we'd love to share.
Aren't we doing a certificate too or something like that? Isn't that right?
Yeah, I think certificates, but it's supposed to be automated. So there's going to be a notification that comes from the system and it emails multiple people to then go and do something about it. So I don't know if it's been built yet, but that's what's going to have to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Look, it's good actually. It was asked for by the advisory committee. I know we're working on it. We want to, there's more and more really spectacular good people. I mean, like Denise before with that 4.9. I mean, that makes me happy just to see that 4.9 sitting there. You know, and look at all those great comments. It's a wonderful validation of what we do, and it's just when somebody does that and they do so well, you know, split after 7 months and putting on workers and stuff, and potential is incredible. So one of the things I've been reading about too, and this about these people who are voting for Trump is not that every, you know, people in gyms do have university degrees and so forth, but the fact is that you don't actually have to have a degree to be really, really, really successful if you're in your own business or in some entrepreneurial area. It's more about character than anything else. But you know,
Yeah.
we put an ad in for for someone in finance paying $50,000 a year, and you get like 100 applicants, half of whom have degrees. This is for $50,000 a year. Now, our guys wouldn't even get out of bed for $50,000. If you can't be turning over $100,000 a year, what are you doing? I mean, $60 an hour is what we aim at, and most franchisees do that or better. So, I don't know. I think when you spend all those years at university getting things like law degrees or so forth, not looking at anybody, of course, but
yeah, I think you are, but that's all right.
It doesn't make a lot of sense
use it.
sometimes. There's so many opportunities out there.
Well, it depends what the narrative is, right? So a lot of people are forced by their parents. I did it for my mum. No one in my family went to uni, so I did it for my mum, and basically my degree was for my mum, and I'm happy I did it. And she's got my law degree on her wall in her nursing home, and that's why, you know, I'm happy that I did it for her. Do I use it? No, but you know, you're right. What you said, the character thing is a big thing, and we did a video with you about character and what defines success, and the one thing you say is character. So that's a really good one as well, and that's great to hear, though, Sam. Fantastic. Then Belinda's
people
gone back
overestimate the wrong things. They're too much worried about things like intelligence, which has minimal effect. It's about 4% in terms of explaining your success in life. And also things like qualifications. People with degrees do tend to do better than those without, but that's usually because they're more disciplined and they're hardworking in the first place. It's not the degree itself that does it. It's just the fact that they are the kind of person who can do that well.
These intangible things of their character, as you said, if they're hardworking, they're on time, that sort of thing.
I think actually most of the time, unless you're actually a doctor or something like that, degrees have relatively little benefit. I mean, look at me, I got a PhD in history. I mean, which I don't regret because it's based on the research that I'm running. But in terms of my occupational status, all it did is delay my starting business for 10 years. So it wasn't really a good investment in that sense.
A Millionaire Next Door. It's a good audiobook I've read, listened on your recommendation. It's a good one. Then Flavio's gone, he joined Dogwash. So from Belinda, you will fit in the trailers. Belinda's 6 foot and fits in our trailers, and some of our guys are taller. So the trailer's not a problem, which Belinda is saying there as well. Then Eric's gone, maybe Jim could keep a laptop with him so he can still do it when you return to normality. Yeah, we could do that. We could set up an FMS laptop for Jim. I think Jim doing the FMS live thing's a good thing.
People like that. I don't know if it's distracting and stuff, but it's nice to be able to look somebody up, I must say, you know, because
it's good.
When Denise told me she was doing so well, my immediate thought is this lady is doing something right. So that's why I wanted to check it and have a look at the actual ratings and the surveys that come through. And that exactly what I suspected. Very, very good operator.
Thanks to Ben Off Air for flicking through that code while we never have found it. Then Andrew Matthews gone here. I'm on the fence about buying a handyman franchise. What would you say to convince someone that it's the right move, as I've only been an employee prior and finding it hard to make a jump? It's a good question, Andrew.
Yes, it's a very good question. 2 things. Go out and work with somebody a bit, a day or two to get a feel for what it's like. But secondly, and most important, ring as many people as you can. When you go to the franchisor, they will give you a list of all the franchisees in the region. And with their contact phone number. It's by law. We used to do it. I used to do it back from the beginning, but it is law now that you do it. Get that list and ring as many as you possibly can and just ask them, what's it like? Do you make good money? They don't ask them how much they're making because they don't know who you are. But are you making good money? Is the gym system good? Is your franchisor good? That's very, very important because your franchisor has more influence than anybody else. You know, what's it like being part of it? And what do you think? And that'll tell you a lot. And quite frankly, if you ring them up and you get a whole lot of negatives, I wouldn't buy it. Generally speaking, you won't, though. Generally speaking, you'll get some pretty good. But even within gyms, I have to say some franchisors are better than others. You'll get a lot of the time you'll get absolutely rave responses. My franchisor is fantastic, very helpful. And others will say things like, well, they're there if you need them, but they're not, they don't fall over themselves. So even within us, there's divisions that you would buy and not buy. And if I was looking for a franchise, I'd want a really good franchisor, because that makes all the difference.
And Jim's Pool Care Mobile Shops has gone, hi Jim and Joel, great to hear sole traders in Vic gyms who operate contact free are back working. Do you think
shops,
we will have
pools allowed, are they?
No, well, this is the Facebook page, Jim's Pool Care Mobile Pool Shops, who's mentioning it. So I don't know if pools can, the pools
Really?
guys. I don't think we can. I don't know if the pools sole traders can as a pool person. I don't know. Let us know in the comments.
I'm curious about that. It's actually easy to check who's back, because I can look at who's actually down for. Oh no, they are back. So I'm completely wrong. They're all back. That's just Victoria. So sorry, my mistake. Pool Care is back.
So they've gone, do you think we'll have a surge in franchise sale with more people wanting to be closer to family and home, work their own hours, etc., after reflecting on the last 8 weeks? That's a very good comment and question.
Oh yes, yeah. There is a surge going through right now. The only thing that's held us up a little bit is the Victorian lockdown, but we were having an incredible year. We'll probably hit 4,000 by Christmas, which we've never
Find
had
out tomorrow,
before.
maybe. Yeah, with the
Bit hard to see. We've actually, if you count suspended, we're well over 4,000 now, but we don't count people who are suspended. So we just don't put them in our numbers. But when everybody comes off, I wouldn't be surprised if we're very close to 4,000.
We'll have to do something for when we can hopefully confirm that. And whoever will be the 4,000th person, will do an interview with them. Then Belinda Hadley's gone, no, Joel, her neighbour is complaining about her parking her trailer in front of her own property, not a client. So we have a franchisee who's parking their trailer in front of their own house, and their neighbour is complaining about it.
I had a friend in my Bible study group who had the neighbour from hell. It was actually an actual literal criminal. And the amount of hassle that guy gave them it was just unbelievable. And then he sold his house. So fortunately, praise God.
That's horrible that the neighbours complain. I don't know what else you can do really besides that. If it's your neighbour at your own property, it's one of the
neighbours can be difficult. I'm not a believer in, even with the customers too. I'm not a believer in the customer is always right. Some customers are actually terrible. The great majority are really nice and decent people, but you get some very bad ones. We have a system, for those who don't know, called red notes. So if you have a lot of trouble with a client, we actually stick a red note so that they don't get service again. And in the past, that actually applied to the address, but shortly we'll be able to do it for the phone number. So even if they move, nobody's going to get stuck with them.
I don't know what that you could do, but I don't know. I'm a bit more of a confrontational person, so I'd confront that person, to be honest, but I don't know how that would go for the brand. So yeah, I don't know.
Be careful. We had a case in WA where one of our guys, Keith, was basically being threatened by this Aboriginal guy, and he was very intimidating and sort of threatened him and threatened to smash his car and stuff. But what Keith very stupidly did is went after him and hit him with the brush cutter. And now it got in the papers and he's dragged before the court. They asked me what I thought about it, and I said, well, he's a really good long-term guy. He's been in since 2009 and he's got a great rating and stuff. But I tore strips off him when I talked to him about it. I said, you shouldn't have hit the guy. Let him smash your car and then take action against it, but don't assault people. Oh dear. Anyway.
And Brendan Wallace has gone, on some positive news, I've had 10 lawns mowed through the lockdown by neighbour, kids, family member. Community spirit shining through. Customers are understanding of extra time, cost, or rough cut now and back to normal in 2 weeks. My worker has an ABN, so allowed to be on site with me. It's from Brendan Wallace.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, the rules are so vague anyway, half the time. You don't even know what they mean.
Then Dave McDonald's going, Jim, we are in El Nino. Your dream of lake air being filled might come true.
Wow, yes.
That's from David. And then
that's my idea of having lake air, filled from the sea or something like that, to more of an inland sea. It used to be, apparently lake air used to be actual permanent water way back in the past. But when the Aboriginals arrived and they did all the burning of the landscape, it seemed to have dried out the land or something like that. That's what they reckon. Right. It was all forested around there.
And a quick one from Gary Hertog's got, my missus is thinking of buying into a coffee franchise in Melbourne West, Downturn Meadows. Who can she speak to, Jim? So Gary's a current mowing franchisee. Who can his wife speak to about Mobile Cafe? Is it Sylvia or you?
Yeah, well, you can put one to me, and I'll just Jim at Jim's.net, and I'll refer them on to whoever it is. I mean, you want me to look it up? I can find out.
I think it's Sylvia. Jim's on FMS again. So in the background there, FMS Live.
So if I look at, so where did you say he was from?
Out in Altona Meadows, so Melbourne West.
Altona. Yeah, Sylvia. I give it. I don't think you can. I give Sylvia's phone number over the air.
Oh, probably not. Gary, just email Jim at jims.net and Jim will give it to you, and then we can hook it up.
Yeah, that's right. I'll give Sylvia's number. It might be a bit much. She might get proposals of marriage or something. I'm not quite sure what happens when you give somebody.
Yeah, we probably best keep that quiet, that one. Then Eric Jurgen's gone here. Well, I've very bad arthritis and do cafe so easily. I can't take any medication for it. It has been for too long. Fantastic division for anyone. So Eric just saying it's a great division if you're a bit older, maybe have some bodily issues and things like that. And then the email's gone there as well. And then Brad Shee's gone, just need a coffee van to tow my dog wash trailer. Would I need to pay 2 franchise fees? And how does coffee receive leads due to people call up and ask for a latte? So Brad Shee's asking, what's the services they ask for? Events and stuff,
they don't actually ask for services very much, actually. Mostly it's just you pick it up through the brand. I don't think it's had a big effect. Let's have a look at that. So let's have a look at Mobile Cafe. This will tell you pretty much how. Now I'll start from the beginning of the year, and I'll just pick Vic, though it's only in Vic anyway.
And Eric's saying he's happy to talk to anyone, and you can give them his number as well, Jim.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sure. So Mobile Cafe, I'll tell you how many leads they've had so far this year. 4.
4. So it's not much, but
they don't get a lot of leads from the office. It's just a sort of one where what Eric will show you how to do is actually if Eric doesn't mind, I'll give his phone number out.
Yeah, Eric said that's fine. That's fine to do. So he's going to email it to him.
I can tell him on the air if you like. If anybody wants a mobile coffee,
well, maybe not because Eric. Well, there you go. Yeah. So tell it on the air.
Eric's not going to mind me giving out his phone number, are you, Eric?
No.
It's 0447 687 861. 0447 687 861. Just go out and spend a day with Eric and just see what you think. It's a great business. It really is. And Eric's got a very good business model there. He's figured out where to go, where the places to go. And the trouble is you can only handle a couple of roads. There's hundreds of potential places to put a coffee van. We can have 100 in Melbourne. Honestly, it's a brilliant business and it's good stuff. I can't say that I don't drink coffee, but the hot chocolate's extremely good. I have a weak spot for chocolate. And Eric's a very, very engaging guy. You have to have the right personality for it. It's a very much gregarious kind of thing. It wouldn't suit me. I'm an introvert, which is why mowing lawns suits me very well. But if you like people, like chatting to them, it's a very good business.
So Gary's a mowing franchisee currently. So Gary, you will know about the Jim system. So Jim's giving you the number. Get on to Eric. So what we'll do then is it's been a great different one tonight with FMS. We've never had an FMS, and we've had some great live reviews from Denise and from other people. Lots of good ground cover with the gyms on the Find a Franchisee stuff as well. So we'll leave it there, Jim. Is there anything just on in the week that we should know about? Any TV or media coming up yet, or been asked to do?
No. The media keeps on coming to me. They like me, but it's worked pretty well. I think the campaign's been a success in the sense that it's got us a lot of very goodwill from the public. There's a few people who say they would never use gyms again, but there's many, many more saying, "Oh, good on you. Keep it up, and you're doing the right thing. And thanks for sticking up for you guys." And we think the whole thing is crazy with the council gardeners and stuff. So it's been good for us, I reckon. I just wish. The thing that really, really bugs me is that we were home and hose. Stage 4 had sole operators working alone. And the Premier gets up at a news conference next week and says, you can't get your lawns mowed, your houses clean. That wasn't the guidelines. He just spoke off the cuff, not knowing. But the amount of sheer misery that guy caused is just unbelievable. I will never forgive him for what he's done to my people.
I make sure everyone get those shirts as well, the shirts and the hats and the stickers. You can get that from Jim's profile. I've got it on there. It's a good looking hat. I'm being serious. It's a good hat.
They're good hats, actually. And the
shirt, good hat on you, Jim.
I should have worn it, actually. I just didn't get quite.
Next week we can chuck it on. Next week you can put it on, I reckon. Looks good. Let Victoria work. So you can get that from Jim's profile. Head there, guys. Reignite Democracy Australia, I think it is. And there's merchandise there. So thanks for that, Jim. Been a really good show tonight. Lots of good, valuable information for everyone. So we'll leave it there, guys. And see you again next week at 7 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time.